This is a part of India you rarely see in headlines about its pollution crisis. A clean, almost untouched island in a sea of toxic air. But what if I told you that the same pollution choking India's megacities is the very reason this place looks the way it does? India's landscape is being silently redrawn, not by maps, but by a toxic haze that's creating bizarre weather patterns and turning our understanding of pollution on its head. We think of pollution as a thick, dark cloud hanging over a city. But the reality is far more complex and far stranger. It's a force of nature and a force of economics, creating invisible barriers, rewriting our weather, and carving deep divides across the country. This isn't just about the air we breathe. It's about the fundamental shape of the land we live on. The story of India's changing landscape begins with a paradox that defies everything we thought we knew about pollution. For decades, the narrative has been simple. Cities are dirty and rural areas are clean. In the vast Indo-Gangetic Plain, some studies show that rural areas can have PM 2.5 pollution levels, comparable to, or even higher than their urban neighbors. This sounds impossible, right? How can a bustling metropolis have cleaner air than a village? The answer lies in a fascinating interplay between city buildings and huge, regional pollution events. In northern India, the air is often filled with aerosols from external sources, like dust from the Thar Desert, or smoke from widespread agricultural burning. When this massive wall of polluted air moves across the plains, it encounters a city. The city's dense cluster of tall buildings can act as a physical barrier, creating a wind-stilling effect. The result is a bubble of relatively cleaner air over the city, while the surrounding countryside gets blanketed in the thick, regional haze. The story of India's changing landscape begins with a paradox that defies everything we thought we knew about pollution. For decades, the narrative has been simple. Cities are dirty, and rural areas are clean. But recent research reveals a shocking inversion of this reality, particularly in North India. In the vast Indo-Gangetic Plain, some studies show that rural areas can have PM 2.5 pollution levels, comparable to or even higher than their urban neighbors. This sounds impossible, right? How can a bustling metropolis have cleaner air than a village? The answer lies in a fascinating interplay between city buildings and huge regional pollution events. In northern India, the air is often filled with aerosols from external sources, like dust from the Thar Desert or smoke from widespread agricultural burning. When this massive wall of polluted air moves across the plains, it encounters a city. The city's dense cluster of tall buildings can act as a physical barrier, creating a wind-stilling effect. This barrier can literally slow down and divert the polluted air, forcing it to flow around the urban center. The result is a bubble of relatively cleaner air over the city, while the surrounding countryside gets blanketed in the thick regional haze. In essence, cities like Delhi can, under certain conditions, become accidental fortresses, protecting themselves from the very rural pollution they are often blamed for. This phenomenon is most pronounced during the pre-monsoon season, when dust storms and biomass burning are at their peak. However, the story flips in southern and southeastern India. Here, cities are not bombarded by the same scale of long-range transported pollution. Instead, their pollution is primarily homegrown, generated by local traffic and industry. Without a massive external haze to block, these cities form traditional pollution islands, creating the familiar dome of dirty air we associate with urban life. This discovery is monumental. It proves that we can no longer see pollution as a simple dot on a map. It's a dynamic, flowing system that interacts with our built environment in ways we are only just beginning to understand. This discovery is monumental. It proves that we can no longer see pollution as a simple dot on a map. It's a dynamic, flowing system that interacts with our built environment in ways we are only just beginning to understand. The impact of this haze goes far beyond creating strange, clean and dirty islands. It's becoming a powerful, invisible architect of India's weather. The blanket of aerosols, particularly black carbon from incomplete combustion, is altering regional climate dynamics. This isn't just about a foggy day. It's about changing the fundamental mechanics of our atmosphere. Studies now show that this dense layer of pollution is disrupting monsoon patterns. The aerosol haze can absorb solar radiation, warming the mid-atmosphere and changing the temperature gradients that are crucial for driving monsoon rains. This can lead to shifts in rainfall, both in terms of intensity and location, creating uncertainty for billions of people who depend on predictable seasonal weather for agriculture and water security. Furthermore, this pollution doesn't stay put. During the winter, prevailing wind patterns act like a massive conveyor belt, transporting pollutants from fires in Punjab and Haryana southward across the Indo-Gangetic Plain. This toxic stream flows for hundreds, even thousands of kilometers. It elevates aerosol concentrations 1 to 3 kilometers up in the atmosphere, creating a high-altitude river of smog that eventually affects air quality in eastern and even southern coastal cities. This long-range transport has another chilling effect. A recent study found that dust from the Thar Desert, carried by atmospheric flows, is now ferrying bacteria, including potentially pathogenic species, all the way to the high-altitude environments of the Himalayas. This process is introducing bacteria associated with respiratory, skin, and gastrointestinal illnesses into regions once considered pristine. This is a profound change, where pollution acts as a transport mechanism for biological threats, increasing health risks for vulnerable mountain communities already stressed by cold and low oxygen levels. The air is not just a collection of gases, it's a dynamic system that connects distant parts of the country in a web of shared consequences. These shifts in rainfall mean some regions face delayed monsoons and parched fields, while others experience sudden intense downpours, upending agriculture and water security across vast regions. The air is not just a collection of gases, it's a dynamic system that connects distant parts of the country in a web of shared consequences. While the atmospheric changes are dramatic, the most devastating alterations are happening on the human and economic landscape. This isn't a silent redrawing. It's a loud and brutal erosion of life and prosperity. The numbers are staggering. According to a 2025 Lancet Countdown report, the economic cost of premature deaths from air pollution in India was estimated at nearly $340 billion in 2022, a figure representing a shocking 9.5% of the country's GDP. These aren't abstract figures. They represent real-world consequences. Think about what this means on the ground. Older workers in physically demanding jobs like agriculture and construction can lose a significant portion of their effective working hours due to pollution-related illnesses, which directly hits household incomes and strains family support systems. The health impacts are a national crisis, with some reports linking air pollution to over 1.7 million deaths in India annually. In the Indo-Gangetic Plain, the heart of the pollution crisis, PM2.5 exposure is a major driver of mortality. The economic pain is not distributed equally. The highest percentage of GDP loss is concentrated in the low-income northern states like Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. This is where the landscape of inequality is being redrawn most starkly. Rural households, often thought to be spared the worst of pollution, can face comparable or even higher PM2.5 exposure than urban zones in the north, largely due to the use of biomass for cooking and agricultural burning. Even the agricultural landscape is being physically altered. Ground-level ozone, a pollutant formed when other emissions react in sunlight, damages plant tissues and reduces crop yields. It's estimated that India loses over $3 billion a year in rice production alone due to ozone damage. Air pollution is not just a health issue, it's an economic anchor dragging down the nation's potential. These connections between pollution, geography, and our economy are rarely discussed. If you're finding this information valuable, please share this video with your friends and family. Raising awareness is the first step toward demanding change. And let me know in the comments below. Have you noticed changes in your local weather or environment that you think could be linked to air quality? What emerges from this analysis is a tale of two Indias, geographically and atmospherically divided by pollution. The landscape is not changing uniformly, it's fracturing along a distinct north-south axis. In the north, specifically the Indo-Gangetic Plain, we see the highest concentrations of PM 2.5, often double the national air quality standards. This is the region where cities can sometimes be less polluted than the surrounding rural areas choked by dust and biomass smoke. It's a landscape defined by massive regional pollution that dominates local conditions. This is also the epicenter of the economic and health crisis, with states like Uttar Pradesh and Bihar suffering the greatest mortality burdens. In the south and east, the picture is different. Here, cities are more often distinct pollution islands, with urban centers clearly dirtier than their rural surroundings. Their pollution is more localized, driven by traffic and industry. While their overall pollution levels are lower than in the north, they are rising, and these cities experience sharp seasonal spikes, partly due to pollution transported from the north. This geographical divide is critical because it tells us that a one-size-fits-all solution to India's air pollution problem is doomed to fail. A strategy designed for Chennai will not work for Delhi. The sources, the atmospheric dynamics, and the very shape of the pollution problem are fundamentally different. Recognizing this is the first step towards crafting effective, region-specific solutions. So, what is the path forward? For too long, the focus has been city-centric. But as we've seen, pollution doesn't respect administrative boundaries. One recent report noted that while a large number of Indian cities have chronically polluted air, the flagship National Clean Air Programme, NCAP, covers only a small fraction of them. Experts are now calling for a shift to an airshed approach. An airshed is a geographic area where the air quality is largely self-contained. The entire Indo-Gangetic Plain, for instance, is one massive airshed. Tackling its pollution crisis requires coordinated action across multiple states, targeting everything from vehicular emissions and industrial standards to agricultural practices. It means phasing out older vehicles, strictly enforcing emission standards, and providing farmers with viable alternatives to crop burning. The National Clean Air Programme aims to reduce particulate matter by 40% by 2026 from 2017 levels, a crucial goal. Some cities have shown progress, with 23 cities having achieved the 40% PM10 reduction target, but many are still lagging, and some have even seen pollution levels increase. The fact is, not a single city or district in India meets the WHO's latest air quality guidelines. The challenge is immense, and it requires unwavering political will, something experts say has been lacking, with the environment often treated as a secondary concern. But the opportunity is also massive. Meaningful action could save millions of lives, unlock billions in economic growth, and create a more stable and prosperous landscape for all. India's landscape is at a critical juncture. The very air is acting as an unseen hand, carving new divisions, altering ancient weather patterns, and eroding the foundations of our health and economy. The phenomenon of relatively clean urban islands in a sea of rural pollution is not a sign of victory, but a stark warning of how deeply our environment has been disturbed. We must stop seeing this as just a problem of smog in our cities. It is a geographical crisis that demands we look up, look beyond our city limits, and finally see the whole picture.